All right, boys, welcome. Today we're going to get into the career mode deep dive. I did get a beta invitation for FC27, so I'm excited to test the game. I've actually gotten beta for the last couple of years, I think since FIFA 22. So it's been nice to test the game every year. Sad to say that the game has been falling off, but hopefully this year they do things right and they really take FC in the right direction. Because I think ever since really the name has changed to EAFC, it's just gone downhill. But we could also debate since after maybe FIFA 19. But we all have different opinions. But today, let's get into the deep dive. Things that they didn't talk about in the career mode video that they put out on YouTube. So yeah, let's just get right into it. A couple of things that I'm excited about. Actually, I need to get my notes. Oh no, I got them right here. I can look at them on my phone. So, where's my notes? That's a couple of things I want to talk about. So we'll start with transfers. I like that they kind of removed a lot of the cutscenes. Apparently, it's going to be a lot more streamlined, and it's going to be this 2D interface instead of the cutscenes that we're used to since, I think, FIFA 20. I kind of like that change because the cutscenes are just getting stale. They are the same since, I believe, FIFA 20. So I kind of like that they're going back to the old kind of FIFA 17 style. So you can see here, it looks different, but you have all the information on this 2D interface. And I think this is going to allow you to make transfers, or at least that process, a lot more seamless, a lot quicker, just because you're dealing with a 2D interface versus having to skip through cutscenes, different things like that. So a couple of things I wanted to point out that I saw. I like that they have this transfer room integration. You got the XTV. I forgot exactly what that stands for. But that's basically the value of your player, according to the transfer room. Now, I think this is going to be an ongoing kind of thing. I wonder if it changes throughout even your save, or is it when you start the save? That's what I'm going to be interested in. They may have put that in the deep dive notes here, but I'm wondering if it's going to be, like I said, if it's going to be something that changes throughout the save. Like, that would be interesting. So let's see. Leading the transfer football value platform, Transfer Room, to develop new valuation models for managed career mode by their market-leading expected transfer value. That's what it is. XTV is expected transfer value. Player evaluations now evolve throughout your career. Okay, so it sounds like adapting to changes in the market over multiple seasons rather than remaining static. So it will change. It looks like throughout multiple seasons. And I guess they have, I think I've listened to some interviews. They have an algorithm for this. They have an algorithm that it will, it looks like it will change throughout the season. So that's actually pretty cool. And I'm sure that's going to be tied to the dynamic overalls. So that is very interesting. The next thing, I like that it happens in stages. So here we go right here, transfer stages. So it's supposed to mimic the real world, right? You have to agree. So first, you have to even get permissions, right? So permissions is granted from the club. Negotiations can only begin once permissions is granted with the buying club, selling club, and the player. They all take place in parallel. That is nice. So this is, honestly, I think this is going to make all the changes they've made to transfers. It's going to make transfers a little bit more interesting. With the different evaluations throughout the career, as well as these different stages where you're talking with the player, you're talking with the club. It just seems like it's going to be, and the integration with the real world with Transfer Room. Like, I think this is going to make transfers a lot more cool. Now they see, I mean, you see they're saying they've added like all these different clauses, which I think some of them we already had, but like, well, installments is new. That's pretty cool. So especially if you have a smaller club, right? You can pay in installments versus paying the whole lump sum, right up front. So you could pay 10 million over the course of 3 seasons, whatever it is, that'd be pretty cool. But, they say they brought exchange player back. I thought that was always there. Achievement bonus, that's pretty cool. And then I guess other clauses. Looks like here, so you can see here, paid now versus future payments. So, that whole lump sum. Okay, cool. That is pretty cool. So it'll make, I wonder if that also will make keeping your budget, if that makes tracking your finances a little bit more, I guess, not really difficult, but you're more involved in keeping the finances. But you can also delegate, the transfer to your director of football or something like this. I do remember reading that. So, I mean, I like the way it looks. It'll be interesting to see how it flows. Apparently, it's supposed to be a little bit faster. They made changes to the hub, the transfer hub. They've kind of split it up into 2 sections, I believe. So you have, where is it? So split into 2 dedicated areas, scouting and transfers. So this is all within the transfer hub. Before, I can't really quite remember what it looked like, but you had 2 different sections for scouting and transfers, and now it's all in one area, which is nice. So that is a cool thing. So I think that's enough about transfers and contracts. It just seems like it's going to be a little bit more in depth, which is cool. And they've kind of made adjustments. I think the cutscenes now are more revolved around once you make the transfer, depending on the type of transfer. So if it's a big player, they'll get a reveal, kind of like a stadium reveal, like Ronaldinho did, like here. And if it's a smaller transfer, you might just get them. I think this was in the video. I don't really see it here, but you'll get them like maybe just in a press conference area. So that's pretty cool. AI Logic. This I think will change the game, because we've seen in previous FIFAs where, you got Man City, they're signing everybody. They don't even need them. They're signing everybody. Or you see the same transfers over and over, no matter which save. So I think this AI logic is going to be crucial to each save feeling different whenever there's transfers. And the way that they sign players is different. So I think this is a great change. So I think they've made a lot of good changes. My biggest gripe is going to be the gameplay. If the gameplay isn't good, career mode is ruined, because that's what we bank on. And hopefully, I think down later, you have the sliders where they made changes they added more sliders. So if we have that control and we can make gameplay the way we really want it, to me, it's really just the way the players move. As far as the animation of movement, I feel like in FIFA 10, older FIFAs, all the way up until maybe FIFA 20, I believe, I think they started skating in FIFA 21 or 22. As long as the skating is gone, man, like this game for career mode fans will be amazing. So AI, behind the scenes, we've made a range of AI improvements that aim to create the most realistic transfer behavior we've had in manager career so far, right? One of the biggest changes is how clubs approach squad building. So depending on, I think, things like the manager, how the manager plays, they can make transfers in parallel instead of just focusing on one target. So, balancing the books, the way the coaches themselves don't directly affect behavior. So there's just a lot of different changes they've made. Financial behavior has been refined to ensure the club spends in a way that aligns with their real world stature and philosophy. So like, this will probably prevent things like, Barcelona going into financial trouble like we're in now. I'm a Barcelona fan. So, but then you think about how Real Madrid, makes transfers, or, how maybe Man United doesn't really spend too many big bucks. So they've made a lot of different changes to how the AI will make transfers. And that is really cool. And I also believe, AI club relationships. So Chelsea and Man United probably aren't going to do a lot of business. It doesn't mean that these can't happen. So historic rivalries have the strongest impact on transfer behaviors. Clubs with long-standing rivalries, Barcelona, Real Madrid, they're not going to do business. It's just less likely. Are now far less willing to do business with one another, making direct transfers between fierce competitors much rare. Now, obviously, we've seen different players like Ronaldo, Firmino, the original Ronaldo. He played for both. I gotta cut that out. I don't know. We've seen different players play for rival clubs. I think even now, just think of Danny Welbeck. He played for Man U, and now he just got signed by Chelsea. But obviously, he's went to different clubs between that time. But, you've seen different players play for both rival teams. It happens, but it's not supposed to happen as often. Regional rivalries. There was another situation they mentioned. But just think like, local derbies, regional rivalries. There's going to be other important factors that even the AI is going to consider when making transfers, which I think is amazing. That is amazing. Club prestige. So there's different, with this dynamic overall, which I'll get into a little later, there's going to be different reasons to pick up a player. There's going to be different reasons to pick up a player from even you and the AI. Players now consider a much broader range of factors when deciding whether to move to a club. So it's also the players themselves. Like, they're not just because you're throwing money at them. I believe they mentioned somewhere in here. So yeah, players' overall rating, obviously. So if they were rated, I don't know, maybe like a 74 at the beginning of the season, and now it's the January transfer window and they're up to maybe an 80. Let's just say an 80. They're going to want more money. They're going to want a bigger move to a bigger club. So if you're like on the same level, they're not going to go to you. Where they're at in their career stage, current wages, remaining contract length, opportunities to compete in continental competitions. So they're making more. They're making decisions based on where their career could go. So that is pretty cool. I think that's all that I wanted to mention on transfers themselves. Oh, the hijacking. So like I said before, transfers happen in different stages. So even if you've agreed to terms with the team, the club, the player, you got to agree with personal terms. Or if something changed while that, maybe a rival team's come in and they've offered more money, or a more appealing club has come in, they can hijack your transfer. I could see creators getting really creative with that in the storyline, or just being very disappointed that they didn't get a transfer that they really wanted because of different factors like that. So that, man, I think if this works flawlessly or pretty close, the system is pretty good, you don't really get a lot of bugs, this will be a nice addition. Now, dynamic overall, very excited. First of all, thank God they added color. Those menus from FC25, FC26, FC24 were just bland. I had to use mods to make them, more appealing, but now they have color. And I like this little greenish blue teal. Like that's a nice color. So dynamic overall, just pretty much it's based on a couple of different factors. Form, confidence, fitness, injuries, playing time, and competition for places can all affect, a player's current overall in terms of dynamic overall. So it can fluctuate. I think this is nice because just because a player is rated 70, he could be playing at maybe a 75, or at 85 could be playing at a overall 90. So it gives you a lot of wiggle room to kind of select players in your squad based on how they're dynamically playing. Underlying ability still matters, but it is no longer the whole story, which is cool. So it's not just rating; it's like the form of the player. So if you got Jude Bellingham playing in a slump, I mean, you're probably still going to play him because it's Jude. But if you got a younger player that's, for the time being, playing a little bit better, you might give him a couple more games. And then that's probably going to improve his base overall. So it benefits you to play players that are informed, which is nice. That's really nice. So you can see here, his overall is a 79. Potential is 89, but he's playing dynamically. His dynamic overall is 82. So even though he's rated 79 this season, he's playing like an 82. And, even he's ready to play, sharpness. So injuries and all, like I said earlier, injuries play in that factor too. So if a player is injured, you're not going to play him. So even here, Kylian Mbappe, I thought I saw a screenshot where he's not playing at his peak. So his match fitness is off par, and his form is only good. But if you have, I don't know if they even have a backup striker at Madrid. But let's just say for this instance, Barcelona, you got Ferran Torres playing at a high level because he's just informed. So he's technically, dynamically, his overall is better than Lewandowski's, even though Lewandowski just left. Just using that as an example, you would play Ferran over playing Lewandowski. So it's kind of nice. So they got a couple different other factors in here: match fitness, injuries and re-injuries, risk. This is going to add, like I said, another level of who do you pick for game day. If you got a player that is injured or slightly injured, just coming back, he may not be fully, fit. You got to sit him, or do you risk him? Like, it's up to you. So it kind of makes it a little bit more realistic in who you select for the team. Or maybe you sit him on a bench and you bring him in at the 65th minute. So he's only playing, 25, 30 minutes. Or you start him and then take him off early, just to see how the game flows. So I think that is pretty cool. Different growth profiles. I think that's cool that you can have players that start out their career really well, and they could probably, fall off like Dele Alli. He peaked early. Or you can have late bloomers. Trying to think of a late bloomer. I think James Rodriguez was a late bloomer. As far as he wasn't like a teenage sensation, but he had a good 2014 World Cup. I believe that was 2014. And so, they have just different stages. I think there's 6 of them. Yeah, 6 distinct growth profiles. How they develop, peak, and decline. So you can decline earlier, even if your potential is very high. That's pretty cool. Squad ranks, I think they're just showing how this player will fit in your squad once you buy them. This is based on a scouting profile. A little bit more information, deep information. And I think they added more leagues you can deep simulation on. I think it's up to 10 now. Before it was 5. So that's kind of nice. I think 10 is probably really the max that you need. Who knows if they add more, but it's just going to make the game a lot more, when you're simming, it's going to make it a lot more laggy. So going to be a little slower. So, nice creator challenges. They're cool. Build your own challenges. I mean, that'll be cool for the community. That's nice. That's a lot of what I had to say. Like I said, the AI logic is nice. I like the new look of the hubs. Just the look overall, they've added color to it. Yeah, I think the changes they've made are nice additions to career mode. Again, if gameplay can be tweaked and if gameplay is good, this will be definitely the best FC for sure that we've had. With all the additions they've made, this will be for sure the best FC that we've had. Oh, I almost forgot. Practice Arena. So, this has never been in career mode. We've had Practice Arena in the start menu before, where you can just do a practice match. But this is cool because you'll be able to test out players in your squad, mix and match reserve players, just see how they play, man. This is a great addition. We've been asking for this for a while. Starting 11 against reserves players, or put your tactical setups and tweaks to the test. I think the only thing that is missing is set piece creation. Corner kicks and free kicks, man. We need set piece creation to come back. I don't know why they ever got rid of it. It was in like FIFA 11, bro. 12, 10. Bring it back. Deeper simulation, like I was referencing before, you have 10 leagues you can do deeper simulation on. New transfer rumors and stories. League MX, that's big. That's big. But those are the big highlighted things. I mean, and then the only thing they added to player career mode is rivalries. But I will say, with the new changes to gameplay, with the new player movements, the curved runs and things like that, but they've also, if you weren't paying attention, if you haven't read the deep dive, read the deep dive. I'm not going into everything, but if you haven't read it, man, they've added to where is it? Here's the new sliders. So they've added more sliders. I'll pause that so you can kind of see it. But regular shot speed, I'm trying to finesse shot speed, finesse shot error. Okay, they got quite a few different sliders here that are interesting. They've just kind of narrowed it down. It looks like made it more granular. Professional foul, that's pretty cool. Yeah, we need more fouls in the game for sure. The AI just doesn't foul. But like I was saying, they made improvements to even your AI teammates. And I think that's part of the sliders, actually. I think that's part of the sliders. But they mentioned in here they made changes to how your AI teammates move. Where is it? Because it's not just, I don't think it's just the CPU. Cool, CPU control, opponents now display the same playing styles. I thought that was already a thing. Cool, less predictable movement, that's cool. Weather conditions, that's cool. Physical play is apparently better. Some of the realistic movements they're coining here is not realistic in my opinion. Like here, what is this? This doesn't look like real player movement. What are we talking about? They still low-key skate a little bit. So if you slow the sliders down, maybe it'll look better. The animations will look better, but I don't know why they're saying that that's supposed to look better. But I really want to show you guys where they said, I remember reading, I could have sworn they said teammates. Here we go. CPU sliders are now separated into CPU opponent and CPU teammate categories. This gives you even greater control in modes where you lock to a single player, such as player career mode, allowing you to independently adjust the behavior of your teammates and opposition. This, to me, is one of the biggest changes that career mode probably gets. So, I mean, if this can change how your teammates play and they don't play dumb compared to the CPU AI, that's big. Because I think that changes career mode dramatically. I don't know what else they really need to add as far as features to player career mode other than maybe being able to be the captain, different things like that they used to have back in FIFA 09. But I don't really think there's much they need to add as far as features. They just need to make the gameplay better. And maybe tracking your stats would be a little cooler. Maybe you can have a trophy room or something like that. I don't think that's hard to add. But other than that, if you can get the gameplay on player career mode better, maybe bring achievements back rather than the easy training system where you can go from a 70 rated to 99 in one season. Like, that's just not realistic. I mean, yeah, you can maybe have a balance. You know, they just balance it out a little bit more. It's possible to become a great player over a season, but 70 to a 99, that's crazy. Bring achievements back. Have a trophy cabinet. Maybe track more stats. Like, I think FIFA 09, FIFA 08, some of the stats they used to track back then were just career mode overall, not just player career mode. You had a lot of different cool things. Like, let me see if I can find some. FIFA 09 stats track. See if we can find some. Some of the things they used to track were just amazing, bro. I just think the menus just had a lot more in-depth things they used to track as far as stats. Not like per game. It was just like the team stats. It just looked better to me, to be honest. I don't know why I'm not really finding any of those screenshots. But just know they used to track a lot more stats back in the day. I should have grabbed a screenshot. Maybe I'll grab one from FIFA 09. But yeah. But at any rate, boys, mates, hermanos, mi gente, that's the video. I'm excited. Like I said, as long as they get the gameplay right, these changes they made to career mode have been awesome. I'm loving them. I just went over kind of the top things that I was impressed with. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. Leave a comment, things that you thought were cool. I hope that FC27 is better than all of the FCs so far. That's what we want. That's what we need. That's what this community needs. Come on, EA, don't let us down. Don't let us down. That's the video, man. It's a wrap. See you guys.